When we reached the stars and discovered we were not alone in the universe, that the myriad of planets had produced a myriad of sentient species that had also clawed their way out of the swamps and crevices to see the burning lights up close, humanity discovered a niche for ourselves. Diplomats and traders and adventurers from 100 different planets found their way to our soil, and ours to theirs. Cultural cross-contamination was inevitable, as language barriers dissolved. We made the Ateoxians weep to hear the tale of how arrogant Achilles in his tent accidentally got his lover killed, and how he repented from dishonoring his enemy in vengeance. Death metal hits differently on the fine-tuned ears of the Yochal, whose urban centre suddenly blazed with 1,000 new cover bands and fusion groups. For the Felicians, the introduction of Sikhism to their southern continent sparked a heated religious schism over whether humanity truly possessed Gal, a term they could never perfectly define for us, or whether it was all some kind of grand cosmic coincidence. And, of course, the effects rippled our way as well. The postmodern art scene collapsed in on itself in the face of Neo-Duran dyed skin pieces. Confucianism made a startling comeback with millions of converts across the globe and colonies, after reforming itself along the guidelines of the Kui royal house, itself not a perfect translation of the institution. In the cultural chaos, we were relieved to find that while all species knew about warfare and imperialism, it was difficult to get to space without mass organizing society, so certain patterns are universal constants. Space travel was so expensive, and the equipment needed to allow colonies to function was so fragile that border wars would quickly burn out and become abandoned as unprofitable. Taking and seizing turf across the cold, dead nothing of space was largely a non-starter. It was cheaper, easier, and more sustainable to haggle with neighbors and trade for what you needed. Aggressive races went bankrupt fast and neither collapsed back to their steel and nuclear ages, or learned to play ball. For a race like ours, already far too keen to view our human neighbors as strangers in need of extermination, it was almost too good to be true. Our long darkness in the shadow of mutually destructive conflict was possibly over. Still, there was one thing that every race across the Milky Way agreed was odd about humans. Everyone else in this galaxy understood that, while they were all different peoples, they were fundamentally the same thing. That is to say, they were all clumps of carbon molded over eons into thinking things with souls, trying to survive and thrive. One planet may produce one kind of carbon clump, and another might produce another that looks and acts different, but at heart both are the same category of thing. Humans alone insisted on seeing aliens as alien, something totally different and unknowable and distinct. Each variation on a theme was treated as a whole new melody. To humanity, there were hundreds of thousands of different kinds of things surrounding us. We could not blink and blur our vision, and see a spectrum of sapience into which we can fit ourselves. Debating whether humanity is uniquely dangerous for failing to see ourselves in others, or whether we are uniquely empathic for dealing with what appears to be monsters and animals and gods, and treating them like humans anyway, is a common pastime among philosophers and prophets and diplomats from foreign stars.